back to The Art Around Us. Today I'm here with Adrian. He's a professional tattooist.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. So how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm lovely as always. So how old are you?
So I'm 24.
You're 24, and where are you from?
I am born in Costa Rica.
Oh, pura vida.
Pura vida. And it's actually on my hands.
Oh,
and,
I love that.
I moved here when I was about 6, and I've been living here ever since in Broward County, Florida.
Nice. Do you like the Sunshine State?
Love it.
What did you do before you started tattooing?
So before I started tattooing, I found myself doing a lot of odd jobs. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do with my life. However, I kind of find myself trying one thing to the other, thinking, okay, maybe I could do this for the rest of my life. Maybe I could do this for the rest of my life. And nothing really actually drew me in any direction, but nothing specific.
No. Alright. So you just wound up tattooing eventually?
I just basically ended up crossing paths with the right person, and yes, I ended up tattooing eventually.
When and what made you realize that you want to become a tattooist?
So I was about 18 years old, about 6 months after I got my first tattoo. I went back for another one, and I spoke with the gentleman who did the tattoo. The dude was very professional. He was not like a street artist. He was a high gallery tattoo artist. And I felt like he really passed that on to me, whereas like I want somebody to feel like they're in good hands the same way I felt like I was in good hands. I was told that there was an opening in the shop for an apprentice, and at that moment in my life I felt like it was the right thing to do. I took about 3 weeks to think about it, and once I was dead set on it, I gave them a call and they told me to come by. Luckily, I had stocked up on a whole bunch of art. I was going through somewhat of a sad phase in my life, and usually sadness fuels art, and I had so many drawings, paintings and stuff in that time in my life that I wasn't really doing anything with it. I decided to show them. You know, usually I make these things for me, but I decided to show them to them. They all loved it, and it just went from there.
So what actually was your first tattoo?
So my first tattoo is actually on me. It was literally just a pop art, black work type of tattoo, nothing really special. I don't ever plan on covering it. I love it, but it doesn't really have much significance except it's my first tattoo. After that, maybe a month later, I did my first tattoo on my best friend Carlos. Carlos is actually a tattoo apprentice now, and he's trying to follow the footsteps. Back in those days, he didn't know anything about tattoos. I basically convinced him to come in to get my first tattoo, and everything just went from there.
So you did your first tattoo on your best friend?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What was it?
It was a lotus with a Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball Z, I'm not gonna lie, was one of the reasons I tattooed, to be honest with you. I mean, it's one of the reasons I draw. I used to draw the characters when I was a kid, and it was fitting that my first tattoo on a person was gonna be Dragon Ball Z related.
Cool. So due to the fact that you used to draw, your first tattoo probably came out good, didn't it? Or did it?
It looks not as bad as other people's first tattoos. I will say that much. It doesn't look like some of the things you see nowadays going viral on Facebook or Instagram. It's definitely not like that bad. Would I show people and tell them I did it? No. I wouldn't tell that I did that tattoo. And the funny thing is he still has it in the middle of his thigh. Really big too. It was unnecessarily big. There's no reason why my first tattoo should have been that big, and I've committed that mistake 100 times over. But no, it doesn't look terrible.
That's kind of funny, and that's good that it's like not terrible. Like, that's pretty funny.
I will say it's somewhat salvageable. So maybe one day I'll finish it.
You should. Like, maybe you could go back and like add some of like your new work to it, make it look spectacular.
Right now, actually, I'm finding myself in that moment of my career where I'm reworking old tattoos I've done. I do that actually almost once a month nowadays, where I'm like grabbing old tattoos that maybe, even though I always felt like I was a very talented artist, because I didn't know the tools and I didn't know the techniques, maybe back in those days I wasn't able to deliver a good product that represented me. So nowadays I even reach out to people sometimes and I'll be like, hey, you know what? I appreciate you coming by and supporting me when I just started. And in order to give my thanks, I would like for you to actually come in and let me rework it. So
rework the same piece?
Rework the same piece to have my style.
That's pretty cool. So like now they get to like upgrade their piece into like a better tattoo. That's nice. Going back to that time when you said you were like a little bit sad, you said that you used to sketch and draw a lot, and you brought all your work in. So how did you actually like get started like drawing? Like someone teach you? Did you have a mentor, an inspiration?
So I started drawing when I was a kid. I actually started drawing when I was maybe 3 years old, 4 years old. Like I said, I would draw these Dragon Ball Z characters. That was kind of my thing. I didn't really know I had a thing for it until maybe I was like 10 or 11. I decided to draw pictures of my mom, you know, portraits, and people were like, wow, this actually looks like your mom, you know, and I was 10 years old. And I thought that was normal. You know, I'm a 10-year-old, I don't know anything about the world. People were like, this is good. So what I started to do after that, I just always kept drawing siblings. Once I got into high school, I started drawing ex-girlfriends and stuff like that, you know, back in those days, or close friends. So I've always drawn. Charcoal, pencil, paper, graphite, all that stuff has always been like a medium for me. Once I was able to add painting into it, I felt more like a complete artist. But I never really pursued painting enough where I would call myself a painter of any sort. It is a very difficult medium, and I respect it for what it is. But like I said, that time in my life did fuel how much art I was putting out.
Would you say that there's a reason that you decided to pursue a career in tattoo rather than just sketch?
I think there is definitely a reason why I decided to pursue the career in tattooing versus anything else art related. I think it's hard, when people don't understand it, it's very hard to sell art, you know? Especially nowadays, like I said, everybody wants to be an artist, so therefore it makes it very difficult to have somebody be able to want to buy something you made, because everybody makes things. I chose tattooing because in reality it chose me. I mean, I didn't really look to tattoo. I didn't want to tattoo. Never in my life have I ever even thought about tattooing. I got a tattoo to kind of put some things in my past, and I just fell in love with it.
Are you self-taught?
So I'll say to a certain extent, I'm definitely self-taught. I never went to any fancy art schools. I never actually had a proper teacher. I've always been somebody who just fancied making things, and at this point, I just explored it to the point where it exploded. When it comes to tattooing, I did take an apprenticeship where I feel like it was being in the right environment. You know, I was in a shop with a whole group of young, hungry artists. And that's actually the reason I asked for the apprenticeship, because it was refreshing seeing a place where art was just rich and everybody's talking. And I was like, yo, I love this because I'm an artist at heart. But I used to be an artist for myself. When I made drawings, I didn't show people. I wasn't trying to take pictures for likes on Instagram. I drew for myself. So once I experienced that, I was like, I would love to be in an environment like this. You guys are super cool. You guys do everything I like doing. And then the apprenticeship was key. But afterwards, the apprenticeship just basically gave me like certain rules to abide by. It gave me a certain mentality and philosophies to kind of work off of. But when it comes to the actual tattoo technique, I don't think I've ever had an artist come in and say, hey, this is the proper way you do something. This is how you get these results. It has been 100% self-taught. It has been me researching, spending long nights at the shop. You know, I would tattoo overnight sometimes up into 2, 3, 4 in the morning because I love it. I would be booked and have 2 appointments the whole day, and then I would literally take a 3rd appointment just because I love it, and this is how I learn. So I'm definitely self-taught in that aspect.
Yeah, I can definitely tell that you truly love what you do, because sometimes I see your posts on Instagram and you'll be like, I don't know if it was an 8-hour piece of work, and you're like, 8 hours, 1 shot. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, that's crazy, that's insane. Like, just sitting there, like, doing art for 8 constant hours. Like, you definitely have to have a passion for something like that. What's one of your favorite pieces of work that you've done so far?
So, that's a very hard question because I love all my work. At this point, especially nowadays where I feel like I have a good product, I love pretty much every tattoo that I finish. And some people think it's silly because I'm the type of person that I'll stop and take a picture of your little heart tattoo just because I did it. And it's just to show that this might be just a little heart tattoo, which I don't really do a lot of nowadays, but I still do them. I don't turn them away. And it's perfect though. If you look up close, the lines are perfect. So, and I'm that person. I take pictures of everything. It's not just a big back piece. It's also the small pieces that count, because at the end of the day, for that person, I'm altering their image for life. So to me, it all counts. So I don't really have a favorite. I do have pieces that I'm waiting to get back into. I don't know where they're at, but I need them to come in.
Do you know what they are?
So I have a piece on one of my friends. He's been going through some stuff, so I haven't been able to get a hold of him, but he's got a really nice piece on his back. It's Greek themed. I'm trying to actually do more realism, Greek statuesque type of imagery, Medusa type of imagery. So he has a lot of that.
That's nice. I love some of your, I like when you do animals, and I also love your portraits. They're really detailed, like everything about them. Like I really love your work.
Thank you.
No problem. So, up to date, and if you lost count, give me a sum. How many tattoos have you done?
Right now, I don't know, and not even close. I would like to say that I've definitely tattooed over 1,000 people, and I've tattooed multiple people. So I want to say that I'm probably around like 5,000 tattoos.
Oh my god, that's crazy. 5,000 tattoos. So how many tattoos do you personally have?
So I personally don't keep count of my own tattoos. I am the least involved tattooer about my own tattoos. Like I don't really care. I don't even take good care of my own tattoos, I'll be honest with you. It's terrible. But I think I have maybe 16, maybe 17. I have really big pieces, like ridiculously big. My whole thigh is filled with just one piece. I have small pieces. I have random pieces. I have like one little bit in my ear right here.
Figuring.
My fingers. I mean, I have so many tiny things too. So
on a funnier note, did you have to like hold Rob's tongue and like touch it when you were tattooing it?
So kind of. That whole situation, I was kind of peer pressured into. It was not something that I would genuinely do because it doesn't really work. But Rob's the type of guy who he likes things done his way, and our relationship has been built on the fact that I let him get his way, but I'm gonna make sure it's to the best quality possible because he pays me. And I mean, he's the only reason I will give him a shot is because he is the person who supports my art. He doesn't look for anything free, and so I always try to do my best job on him. I basically told him to grab a tongue suppressor, and we flattened his tongue with a tongue suppressor, and that's after that we just did it.
How long did it take?
It was super short. I'm gonna say maybe like 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. I mean, it's just on the tongue. It's not much you could do, to be honest with you.
Okay, well, that's good that it wasn't that long. Because imagine him just like, for an hour or something.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be crazy. So today, do you still do any other forms of art?
To this day, at this point, no. I really wish, I thought that I was going to be able to get tattooing rolling enough so I can pay my bills and then start investing into buying oil paints and buying acrylic paints because I had all this money now. And I did. Literally, I went just last year, went and got all this fancy stuff to start oil painting. The best possible brushes, the best possible oils, the best possible canvases, everything. But I just don't have the time. I'm always tattooing. It's one of those things where tattooing took over my life. It is my medium, so I decided to stop fighting it and just embrace it. So no, I do nothing but tattoo. Don't get me wrong, I still do art. I still do graphite work sometimes. I love, there's nothing that's gonna replace pencil on paper, but it's more for me. Like I said, it's more like a soothing calmness when I do pencil on paper
Yeah,
stuff.
just for fun, just for
Yeah,
you.
just for fun.
That's pretty cool. What are some of the weirdest moments of your career?
Some of the weirdest moments of my career. That's actually a very tough question. I definitely have had countless weird run-ins. This industry is very like underground, underworld. You know, things happen late nights when things are closed. It's weird. One of the weirdest experiences I've had was not even me. The person who tattooed next to me. We have booths that can be private, but they have a window. Usually the windows also become private, but somebody broke the window, like the actual mechanism. So there's an opening. I can see in, you can see out, but it's okay because we're boys. He's great. He actually tattooed my head. So whatever, we're tattoo artists, so we're not gonna be creepy. And I just go in there, clocking in, trying to just do what I do every day, minding my business. I put my coffee down, I put my keys down, I put my bag down, minding my business nonchalantly. I look around the corner and I see my boy tattooing a butthole. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on right there? I was not expecting that. He had basically this girl who's sitting in like all fours with her butt spread open. Luckily, her butt's not facing my way, but he looks like he's like in there, you know. And he did the crispiest heart around that butthole. It looked nice.
Oh, you say you got to view it, like.
Oh yeah, I had that. I was like, oh, this is nice.
Because he's like, hey, bro, come see my work.
Not the butthole, but the heart was the tattoo.
But I would hope so. Have you done any tattoo cover-ups that are worth telling about?
So, as far as cover-ups are tricky. Everybody wants a cover-up because some people want instant gratification, a lot of people, and they get bad tattoos. So, cover-ups are very trendy. People always ask me, hey, do you do cover-ups? Well, I tell them this, sometimes. It really depends, I'm picky. So I had this client of mine, she came to me, I gave her her first couple tattoos. She's awesome, sweetheart, she pays the price that I tell her to, she gets good quality art, she takes care of it, she sends me pictures, she's awesome. So she went out of town and she was with a couple cousins and they just had to go get tattooed because why not, you know what I'm saying? So they get tattooed at a random place and unfortunately, they didn't really do research before actually getting the tattoo. And what ended up happening is that they were having a couple drinks and they kind of dared each other to get tattoos. I didn't think nothing of it. What happened is I followed her on Instagram, I saw her post it, but then delete it, but I saw it and I registered, I was like, no way. So I didn't think nothing of it. She comes back to get more tattoos, continuing to the tattoos that I already did on her. And then halfway through as I'm tattooing her, I was like, hey, you know, a couple months ago, I saw you put a story and I happened to see this very peculiar tattoo of a dog's penis. And I'm pretty sure it was on your story. And she says, she looked white. She looked like, wow, you're really calling me out right now? So she regrettably shows me, she has a red dog's dick tattooed on her leg as a dare almost. And she's wearing, by the way, I should have noticed this, but she's wearing like knee-high socks, clearly for a reason at this point. And I told her, I was like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, this is awesome, and this is really funny, because it was really well done. I will say, if you're gonna get a bad tattoo, get it well done. But I told her, I was like, if you really, because she told me she got a bad reception from her mom, it's like, if you really want to get rid of it, I'll cover it for you. So I offered. And we ended up doing this black work, like peony type of tattoo, and it's gone 100%. She's super happy, but that was definitely the most like, why would you do this?
Oh my God. Did she at least tell you like the background story, like what they got dared to do?
No.
So how long have you been a tattoo artist?
So I've been tattooing for about 3 years now. One of those years was an apprenticeship where I did not tattoo at all. And now I'm coming on 2 years of actual tattooing. I've been able to get the ball rolling really quickly. I'm blessed to be able to do some of the work that I do in such a short amount of time. And I'm blessed to have other artists that believe in me. You know, I don't really try to compete with others. I'm all about community. I'm all about our community. And luckily, people feel those vibes off me. So I've been able to learn lots of things from a lot of local artists. But I've been tattooing for a total of 3 years.
Do you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life?
Yes, at this point, that's actually the real reason why I got my head tattooed, was because I felt like this is me. This is what I'm gonna do till the day I can't do anything. I actually dread the day where I'm going to have carpal tunnel from the amount of tattooing I will be doing.
So do you remember how old you were when you did your first tattoo?
Yes, I was 18.
All right. And what is your favorite part about your job and what you do?
My favorite part of the job that I do is that I get to change somebody's appearance, and sometimes for the better, for the most part for the better. You know, now that I feel like I know my tools and I know my techniques, I feel like I hold a big power in my hands. I'm able to change somebody's outlook and confidence. Sometimes when people have hardships and they're experiencing something bad and they need to get a tattoo in order to kind of close that up and be able to move forward, you know, when people lose family members, when certain big life-changing experiences happen, I get to mark that in their lives. So my favorite part of my job is just the power that people give me. And sometimes it's the fact that people do that when they don't even know me too well. You know, I'm a stranger and you're gonna allow me to do these things, but I'm always grateful. I mean, I have not lost that sense of huge power and responsibility. I think everybody who has allowed me to even do any tattoos on them, like I said, big or small, it is just a huge like responsibility, and I'm always super grateful.
So thank you so much for coming on to the show, The Art Around Us. We loved having you, and I wish you the best luck in the rest of your career.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.